It was Friday lunchtime at the iron ore mine in Brumadinho.
It sounded like an earthquake. A sound of a bomb. The ground shakes like an earthquake.
The dam collapsed, releasing tens of millions of tons of sludge and rocks. A torrent of toxic waste that had built up over years and now buried everything in its path.
Teve pais que não chegaram a conhecer seus filhos. Nada vai trazê-los de volta.
In under a minute, the mud swept through the mine headquarters and the canteen.
Can you imagine? All of that mountain was rejected.
All of that?
All of that.
Yeah.
It's about 10 or 12 meters from reject.
10 or 12 meters of sludge, toxic waste.
Eu imaginava que ele poderia estar soterrado assim num lugar, querendo ajuda.
The sludge continued onwards, taking out a hostel and a bridge, and snaking its way through farmland and villages.
Quando eu lembro que eu vi aquelas árvores caindo lá, passando a lama lá, caindo. E as pessoas tudo lá embaixo, que a gente conhecia, todo mundo ali embaixo.
Uma mulher lá morreu abraçada assim na pilastra do...
Parts of Brumadinho look like a modern-day Pompeii. A town struck by a sudden and devastating catastrophe. But it didn't need to be like this. Investigators claim the mining company knew the dam wasn't safe. And this wasn't the first time a dam like this had collapsed. People were, in effect, living on the slopes of a man-made volcano. Why? Let's be clear about what this isn't. This is not a story about an industrial accident. It's a story about a system of economic development, about a whole way of life built upon the ever-increasing extraction of finite natural resources. It's a story really about the relationship between human beings and the planet we inhabit. Morning and evening, the freight train rumbles through, laden with ore. This is a town built on mining. Ever since the first Portuguese colonizers discovered vast wealth buried beneath the fertile ground, mining has been the mainstay of the economy here. Brumadinho is a small town, a tight-knit community. This disaster has left no one untouched.
É meio que inacreditável. Trabalhei lá durante 15 anos, eu perdi muitos amigos, perdi uma família.
Adriano Braga was part of this extended family. He went to work that Friday. He never came home.
Uma pessoa muito inteligente, muito talentosa, que estava no início da carreira, no início de criação de família. Ele tinha acabado de se casar, planos de ter filhos, né? Então, assim, uma fatalidade, uma pena.
Jobson was only 8 when he was sent out to work. In his 20s, he got a job at the mine. It was his ticket out of poverty.
Era sinônimo de conseguir construir alguma coisa na vida, de ganhar um dinheiro, de construir uma família, de ter uma casa própria, ter um carro. Então, assim, todo mundo queria trabalhar na Vale.
Jobson left the company last year, and that decision may have saved his life. Weeks after the disaster, Adriano's body is still missing. At a public meeting, they're looking for someone to blame. A similar dam, part owned by the same mining company, collapsed 3 years ago. The company, Vale, vowed it would never happen again. It was an accident, they said. People don't accept that anymore. The local mayor tries to placate an angry audience. A man accuses him of being in the pocket of the mining company. The mayor says without revenues from mining, Brumadinho simply won't survive. Vale is the town's biggest employer. It's also the second largest mining company in the world. It wields enormous power.
As the locally elected politician, it's your job to hold the company to account, to make sure that they abide by safety regulations. Why did you not do that?
Isso não foi feito porque a responsabilidade não é do município. Então a gente não nos deu licença, não deu nada. Então a gente, na realidade, fica com os braços amarrados. Não temos autonomia de nada, o município.
Okay, but these people are saying that you work for the mining company.
Vê lá, nunca fui subordinado da Vale. Nós estamos batendo pesado neles com as indenizações.
Among the crowd is Caio Braga, cousin of Adriano, whose body is still missing. Caio is a local councillor. Even before the disaster, some of his constituents were concerned about the safety of the dam.
Haviam rumores, boatos, mas ninguém fala abertamente. Então, como vereador, né, eu tenho como situação julgar o mérito.
He drew up a list of questions and sent them to the mining company. They only wrote back after the dam collapsed.
Eles não me deram essa documentação, por quê? Porque realmente a barragem estava com problema.
The company, Vale, told us that the questions were complex and that they needed more time. This is a case study in the limits of democratic power.
Porque hoje o político que fiscaliza uma mineradora é politicamente ruim para ele. Porque a mineradora emprega, fala que a gente está atrasando.
The type of dam that collapsed is known as an upstream tailings dam. It's really a lake of sludge and mining waste held in place by a series of small dikes made out of compacted earth. As the mine produces more waste, new dikes are built on top of the old, forming a sort of pyramid. It looks solid, but inside it's liquid, a disaster waiting to happen. Weeks after the collapse, firemen continue to search through a wasteland of toxic mud.
You can see the conditions they're working in and also a sense of scale here. This is 6 guys searching through this vast area of mud. And all these weeks later, they're still pulling bodies out.
One body.
You found one body here today?
Yeah. Yes.
Was it a whole body or was it a body part?
Todo em parte.
Parts.
Body part.
Right.
Segmento, né? Tronco,
The torso
Yeah.
braço,
and arms and legs.
Arm.
parte do rosto.
Part of the jaw.
Yeah.
That must be psychologically very hard work in your head.
É desafio psicológico trabalhar nesse tipo de situação.
More than 100 bodies are still missing. Among them, Adriano Braga, whose family we met earlier. That morning, he had had breakfast with some colleagues before heading to the mine.
Então a gente conversou sobre o que o Adriano estava fazendo exame periódico. Ele tinha feito sabia dos objetivos dele, um cara super família. Assim, tinha um sonho de acabar de construir a casa dele, amava a esposa dele.
Adriano's friends believe he was in the staff canteen when the dam collapsed.
We have there about 200 or 300 people lunching in the exact time of the accident. We found a very big number of bodies on this site.
Right here,
Yes.
where they were swept inside the canteen, all the way from that mountainside over there, down here.
The Vale mine is closed for now. Brumadinho is in crisis. More than 300 people are dead, 1% of the population. The environmental cost is still uncalculated, but the freight trains keep on rolling. Extraction continues at other mines nearby. Growth, development, nothing can stop the juggernaut. Could the tragedy at Brumadinho have been prevented? Some believe it could. 40 miles to the north lies the capital of the state of Minas Gerais. This is the centre of Brazil's mining industry. Here, some say, the laws are made not by elected politicians, but by the mining companies. We've come here to meet someone who says she's seen firsthand how politicians give priority to the mining companies' interests. In December, a month before the disaster, there was a meeting of the State Council on Mining Regulations. The purpose was to debate whether to grant a licence for Vale to expand its operations at the Brumadinho mine.
We tried everything to say it's not possible to give this license because this mining complex, have problems.
Maria Teresa Corujo voted against the expansion. Hers was the only dissenting voice.
It was terrible because I am sure that people should not die, because we try every time to say that, stop that crazy thing. Why? Well, we try, we said to you, and no one listens us. And after that crime, we still listen and we still see that authorities and that people with the power of making change, they still doing the same.
An investigation is underway. The state prosecutor told us that the mining company hired 2 outside contractors, Tractebel and Tuv Sud, to inspect the dam last year. Her case has focused on the question of who knew what about the conditions of the dam.
This is your deposition, right?
That's my recommendation.
This is your
I signed it.
This is you signed it, right? And it says that in September, Tractebel inspectors basically said it wasn't safe.
Yes.
Yeah. And then what happened?
And then when Tuv Sud was contracted, and Tuv Sud declared the stability.
But so basically, Tractebel said in September last year it's not safe, and Vale, the mining company, said, well, you're fired then, and they hired a different company to say it's okay, it is safe.
Yes.
Tuv Sud told us their assessment was thorough and they defended their inspection report. Since the collapse, a Tractebel engineer has told a hearing that their inspection didn't indicate an imminent risk of collapse. But it gets worse for Vale. The mining company wrote up its own financial risk assessment, which noted that the risk of the dam collapsing was higher than acceptable, and it estimated a cost to the company of $1.5 billion.
Vale told us that this safety assessment was based on their own metrics, which they said are stricter than international and national standards. So let me get this straight. Not only did they know that the dam was a risk, but they calculated how much it would cost them if it collapsed.
Yes.
That's really shocking.
Yes. Quando nós tomamos conhecimento desse estudo, ele nos alarmou bastante. No dia seguinte, nós propusemos uma ação civil pública, em face da Vale.
Vale says the dam was assessed as safe by inspections over the years. They said the dam had a safety rating that accorded with international norms and was above Brazilian guidelines. At the heart of this story is a fundamental tension between environmental and safety regulations on the one hand and economic imperatives on the other.
É problema não apenas do Brasil, é problema mundial, né? E muitas vezes é gerado aí por esse movimento de flexibilização para atração de investimentos.
Outside the courthouse, relatives and survivors are trying to keep up pressure on the company. Silas Filalho left the mine in 2016. He was worried about safety.
Não, mais é a sensação de medo. E depois que Mariana rompeu, era só tempo para as outras barragens também romper.
But there's politics at play here too. 15 years of left-wing government ended last year amid a vast corruption scandal. That wasn't related to mining, but it has led to a perception that successive governments have been too close to big corporations.
Agora, quando foi Mariana no PT, eu acho que ficou muita coisa debaixo dos panos.
Now, Brazil has a new right-wing president.
Devido ao Brumadinho e o Bolsonaro ser ritmo diferente, estilo de governar diferente, a gente está vendo ponto positivo.
Jair Bolsonaro is a leader in the populist mold. He came to power promising to drain the swamp. That has proven a popular message. But he also wants to remove constraints on industry. Is he the one to break the link between government and big business? Many fear not.
We are living a dramatic situation, and if that goes on and on like that, it's going to be the end of this country. And we have hundreds of dams in Minas Gerais, hundreds. So it's a very serious situation, and I think that people cannot act freely. These companies cannot have all this freedom and all this command of the country as they have had in the last few years. It cannot go on like that anymore.
Back in Brumadinho, they're still burying the dead. Almost every day, new bodies are identified, bringing fresh grief, but also a degree of closure to family and friends. Vale, the mining company, has set up an information centre where people come for news of missing relatives.
So this list is being constantly updated. It's got all the names of those who were killed, dozens and dozens of them still missing, and then all the names of the ones who've been identified. And one name here in particular, we see Adriano Júnior Braga. It says, death confirmed at the morgue. That means that Adriano's body has now been found.
É triste falar. Adriano, uma pessoa tão jovem, cheia de vida, foi uma pena, uma coisa horrível.
é um pesadelo que a gente espera que acabe. Tem dia que a gente está bem, a gente está numa montanha-russa. Você está subindo, você está ficando bem, quando de repente você cai.
By now, everyone knows about the accusations of negligence leveled at the mining company. But what alternative do people have?
Eu acredito nos valores dela.
Rafael, who worked with Adriano at the mine, is planning to start a family, and so...
Mas se depender de mim, meu futuro, eu quero continuar trabalhando na empresa. Não é fácil, mas...
Because you're getting married?
Sim.
The day after Adriano's funeral, his friends get together in his honor. Football was always a Saturday ritual. Adriano's absence is keenly felt.
Era pro Adriano estar aqui jogando com a gente. Ele tá aqui agora. É isso. Era muito especial pra gente aqui. E tá fazendo muita falta.
This is a family, a community, trying to put things back the way they were.
É difícil e ao mesmo tempo a gente não pode parar, né? A gente tem que continuar.
But the bigger picture is harder still. To carry on as before is not sustainable.
O pessoal não pôs o pé no chão ainda. Tá todo mundo que participou desse desastre, que participou dessa... Muita gente vai ter que mudar, vai ter que abandonar suas casas, vai ter que procurar emprego em outras cidades. Então é só um começo de uma transição. A não ser, né? Quem sabe, né? Pode acontecer algo muito diferente aqui em Brumadinho. Da gente conseguir voltar a rodar, talvez de outra forma, né?